Hello! Welcome to round 2 of textile dyes. This time we have been focusing on red and blue shades, which also gives purple, and purple is just one of my favorite colors, so I'm quite happy about that. We have been using indigo for blue. We have been using cochineal, the lice that I showed you in the previous video about textile dyes from this autumn, which gives red and pink. And then we have been using common madder, which gives red and orange. And then you can mix and match these to get different shades. So we have been trying to get a few different shades of purple, different depths to the blue, and so on. So I want to show you what I have been doing and what we have been doing all as a group. So we can start with the group efforts. So over here we have the madder. And we have been dyeing on different shades. So here is madder used on white. Here is madder used on white, but that has then also been dipped into cochineal. And here we have a light grey that have been dyed with madder. So you can see the difference here, depending on what color the yarn has when we begin. If it's white or if it's grey, we will have a different result. And then also, of course, if we choose to mix it with cochineal. And then you don't mix the two together. Instead, you first dye it with one type of pigment and then the other. So let's move on to the blues, which is what is completely new for this batch compared to the old one. So last time we had quite a bit of yellow shades, and we had yellow from different plants. Now we only have indigo, and indigo comes from the plant kingdom. However, we are capable of making synthetic indigo, which is the same molecule. And again, here we have indigo dyed on different shades of yarn, so white, light grey, and a somewhat darker grey. And it also depends on how many times you dip the yarn into the indigo. And I think here are the most clear differences. So these are both dyed on white yarn. However, this one was dipped in when quite a lot of dips had been made. So it wasn't much pigment left in the pot when this yarn went in. However, this one went in twice and quite early on. So then we have this lovely dark blue color. And I think where things got really interesting was when we started to mix cochineal and indigo, because that can give you these lovely purple colors. Here is my attempt, which was first dyed in cochineal and then in indigo. And this is dyed on a white yarn. This is dyed in the same way and on the same yarn. However, look at how very differently these two turned out. I think that one is much prettier, but it's not mine. Oh well, that's life. So this one was dyed in red when the pot with red was completely fresh, so nothing else had been dipped into it. I went in for the second batch, so that's one difference. And then also, I think I went in quite early on for the indigo, while this one went in quite late, so I have a lot more blue and less red to mine than this one has. And we all got to pick 100 grams of yarn. So that could either be 4 different kinds of yarn that we chose to dye, or we can choose one kind and one color. So those are our options: 4 different or 1, everything in between. So I took two balls of 100 gram each, which is quite a large ball of yarn. And this is my attempt with the cochineal and the indigo. And I think it turned out quite nicely, and also, like, it is not absolutely even, which means like you can tell that this is handmade, this is homemade. And I also think it's quite pretty. I like the shades of pink that is happening in here. This was dipped twice into indigo, and it looks like indigo, that clear deep blue color that you know from any denim fabric, for example. And then my own personal project was these leg warmers. So these are old Swedish military surplus. I think I bought them maybe 15 years ago for 10 crowns, so they're like €1. And they were white or beige, sort of. And I did the same thing with these as with the yarn. So first into the cochineal and then into the indigo. And these as well turned out not completely even, which I like. There are things happening here, and I will blend in perfectly well with the bisexual flag on Pride. Very important stuff. And then what I've been doing today was the painstaking work of writing etiquettes with the type of yarn and the types of dyes that have been used, and organizing them on a piece of string. So yeah, this is what I've been doing this week. And I find this quite useful because now I can untie the bow, obviously, and then I can compare the same kinds of yarn, or I can compare the same kinds of pigments, and so on. So that this gives me more freedom for comparison when I'm thinking about what I want to do, what I want to use for material for my work, instead of just gluing everything onto a piece of cardboard. Yeah, so that's that. Most of us used some kind of glove or other protection wear when doing this work, because of course it will stain your skin. It stains wool, it will stain your skin. One person didn't, and he was blue up to here. He looked like he'd been wearing Smurfs for finger puppets. I don't know. That's wrong, right? That's wrong. Okay, whatever. Yes, so this was fun. Oh, and a bit of chemistry, yes. So for the red colors, so for the madder and for the cochineal, you prepare the wool with alum, which is an aluminium salt. However, for the indigo, you don't need to do that. What is important though with the indigo is that it is an oxidation process. So you have to get the indigo solution oxygen free. So you can't be whisking, so you add things to make the oxygen that is in the solution react so that it's inert. And then when you put in your yarn or whatever you're dyeing, you need to put it in very carefully and try to not stir in oxygen. And then once it's in the pot, you leave it for about 10 minutes. I mean, the other ones we leave for at least an hour at fairly high temperature. Indigo, not temperature sensitive, and just leave it in there for about 10 minutes, and then you fish it up. And immediately when you fish it up, it's quite disappointing because it doesn't look like anything. Maybe looks a bit green, like a bit dirty. But what then happens is that you go outside and you shake it. And then the indigo will react with the free oxygen in the air, and you have an oxidation process happening, and that's when the blue shades develop. So that feels a bit like magic, but it's not, it's chemistry. Most magic is chemistry, yes, that order. So you're shaking it, and it goes from this green to blue, to dark blue. And then you just let it air out for a while, and then you decide like to do this needle nut dip. You can dip it multiple times. Yeah, and when you're happy with the result, you wash out the excess pigment. So that was quite fun. I mean, I love anything with chemistry when you have to think in chemistry terms. So yeah, I've really enjoyed working with indigo. Yeah. See you next time for, we have been weaving and I have been making a dress, and I don't know in which order these videos will come up, but yeah, exciting for you, my 2 viewers. Okay, bye!